Ndị be anyị ekelekwanụ m unu. Asị m ka nke onye chiri ya si alụkwa. Asị n'ụbọchị nke taa mara na anyị na mma na ihe adị ka echi na echi ada agwụ agwụ. Otu anyị kwuru ya, otu akụ ya dịrị n'ụmụ Igbo. Ise ise. Ọzọ dị ka ibe ya bụ anyị emekunu mara na ya bụ Eastern News 24 ka anyị si wee wetara ya bụ ozi unu je gị ugbu a n'iru akwụkwọ gbasa maka ya bụ ife na-eme n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya anụ nwere ụwa na-azọ n'ala Igbo. Ozi anyị wetara unu ụbọchị nke taa bụ according to the Biafran activist. As a quote, ICC International Criminal Court, Simon Ekpa's collapse Asolok, world leaders step in over terrorist link in appeal court in Finland. Hear the news in details. All right, this is according to the Biafran activist with Taraya Bozi. Pay attention to the clip here about update I know from Finland. The key Gabi Fekabaro, Kiria Tanifo Hugase. Over to you.
Very, very clearly. Nigeria does not understand what is going to happen any moment from now, referring to the issue of Mazin Namdekano. The issue, of course, someone must not be included because what we are hearing very clearly that is coming from some many nations around the world. Finland might likely, face the consequences of that injustice carried out on behalf of Nigeria because they say it has they feel that they have been bribed with something they cannot actually resist. Alexander Stubb should watch out for what is going to come very soon, because I can tell you in honest truth, the Biafran government in exile is working extremely underground. People might not know, people might not understand, but we are seeing it, we are acknowledging it. Yes, but if Bruce Finn, the IPOB, Namdekano IPOB US lawyer, can react to the issues on ground and letting the Nigerian government to know what is actually going to happen very soon, then the world will marvel. And he also pointed out of Russia-American meeting in Alaska, also a factor that a lot of things will be finalized in that meeting. And of course, the restoration and recognition of Biafra will also be looked at, considering Russian impact in Africa. Russia are massively supporting the Sahel nation under the military junta or administration of the Burkina Faso man, Ibrahim Traore. A lot of negotiation is going to take place there. And for American major ally to come out and take a particular decision, on Nigeria, considering how political parties we are being infiltrated, we are being used as a political terrorist organization launching the tendencies. Buhari was also mentioned. Obasanjo was also fingered. Tinubu was also fingered in these political parties. Then I begin to wonder. So a lot of things was actually going on. And yes, you might not be able to know why Jonathan was actually removed from government. Because if you listen to Jonathan sometimes, you begin to wonder, what actually did Obama wanted in Nigeria, not knowing fully well that most of those political parties in Nigeria, I think the Canadian court went to an extent of even mentioning political parties in Nigeria. They are terrorist organizations. Then shame on Finland, shame on Alexander Stubb, shame on that very man who compromised. Let me tell you, when did we start hearing about Finland? It was Simon Ekpa that contributed and made Finland very popular. A lot of people may not understand this. I know very well, by next month, Simon Ekpa is going to be set free. Everything is being worked, and you can see that the Canadian government, the ICC, I'm telling you, you can go and check it. A lot of people may not believe it, but I'm telling you that Biafra has come. Biafra is a reality. There's no two ways about it. I'm not talking about what the world are going to decide on their own, or how to protect and how to secure Biafra. We are also seeing the Israeli ambassador that have met with, of course, the Easterners just about a few days ago. There is so much going on the ground. And I can tell you, there's also a plan establish some kind of defense structures in Abia State. Now, we don't know how they are going to handle the issue of Biafra and Abasonia. A lot of things are going on, and to an extent, then if Canadian government under Mark Carney, if you look at Mark Carney very well, he looks like a former US President George W. Bush. They have the same semblance, and these are people who have taken over the leadership of the world currently now, and they are telling you that there is something that's going on. Yes, they're going to match delegates with the Biafran government in next time delegate. They have already contacted Finland, and any moment from now, I can tell you, watch out for the truth. Simon Ekpa will be released. And he's been predicted it, that his release is coming back, his second coming. Then, the zoo are going to experience what they have never experienced in their life, both in terms of government, both in terms of everything. And you can see the warfare that this political organization that come that appears as when I say it publicly, a lot of people don't want to believe that there's already a political conquest almost achieved 75% in Igbo land. Well, you can see it now. When some people like Lamasin Namdekan was talking about, no wonder when ESN rose in defense of the Biafrans, these people who have infiltrated their ideology in these political parties, PDP and APC, resisted Masin Namdekan ESN because they were part of the agenda. The Canadian government, with the revelation, I can tell you there is a heavy traffic in Finland now. Nations, ICC, US, America, all of them delegates are moving. Yes, President Simon Ekpa must be free. He has no case to answer. A court, and you remember that it was this same APC under Buhari. He started under Buhari, indicted by Amnesty International already, has already indicted Buhari, that it became very significant. The plan of political conquest, and the political conquest agenda become very significant, that to the extent that the killing actually started. So you can see that the game they actually play with Obama. I mean, a lot of people, this is to an extent they don't want ordinary people to understand the secrets, what they have enveloped inside, and they are busy, playing out another entire script just to camouflage the reality of their mission. And when we keep on appealing to Biafrans, I've seen nations that are not up to 5 million, 10 million. We are talking about Biafrans who are above 85 million in population. And I know how strategic Biafra will provide security. Yes, the analyst was saying it. The only way that they can stop jihadist movement in West Africa and Africa is to recognize Biafra as a sovereign nation. As simple as that. Some people might not want to do it, but we can see what is happening to Martin Namdekan now. They will not want to buy into that. And shame on them. They came out and appeal. The federal government is appealing. People is saying no. PDP is not a terrorist organization. APC is not a terrorist. They are saying it. But those who proclaim them knew that there's no how you sustain a jihadist movement and Islamic extremism that are killing thousands of people without having a political backup. And that was why anywhere you are, get this video across. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu must be celebrated. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu must be respected. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu has become the face of liberation. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu has become the face of Africanism. Mazen Namdekan has defined the new Africa. Mazen Namdekan has championed the identity of the most intelligent race in Africa. I'm not the one who saying there are evidences pointing towards that. The Igbo nation are resilient people. These are people who knows how to turn scraps to machines without any form of, white man's input. We are closer to China, about 10, 15, 18 nautical miles from the eastern coast. We're already in China. We have all this, what it takes to be a nation. Now, how would we continue in this unity? And our people are being killed in their respective places. Now, they are busy bringing insecurity. It started with Buhari, APC government. Tinubu is silent and doesn't want to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But what is coming to Nigeria? According to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's US lawyer, Bruce Finn is going to shake Africa. A nation, a kingdom is going to emerge. There's no two ways about it. If you like, whether you like it or not. Yes, the Canadian government, you can see the ICC, everybody is up, the AU, everybody is out. How come this thing has become a reality now? How come this thing has become a challenge now? How come that the world could not comprehend what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa was doing? It has triggered the freedom of Mazi and Simon Ekpa now because the Biafran government in exile has led a massive campaign in Canada under Dr. Ngozi Oruagbesi, under Simon Ekpa, to alert the world, to create solidarity for the plight of Simon Ekpa in Finland. Well, he is likely going to meet the delegates that are coming from ICC, US, EU. People might not know. Nigerian media will not report it. I wish Nigerian media would not put it on the cover. How APC and PDP become a terrorist organization. According to Canadian courts, the media will not celebrate it. And I can point to videos. International organizations have been accusing Nigerian media of sabotage, of evil reportage, not covering the real thing. How come the Nigerian media were not able to reveal that NPC and PDP were championing jihadists against Biafrans? The jihadist tendency is not against the Yoruba people. The jihadists they are talking about does not concern an Afro Yoruba man. The jihadist plan and conquest and agenda that is ongoing is about the Biafrans. As simple. And once that is achieved, and that's what they mean by Islam. Islam means surrender. They want Christians in Nigeria to surrender. And if you refuse to surrender, then the way and manner they have compromised and conquered us politically by installing these governors. You can see. Go and fact check yourself. What are the responsibilities? The only person that can guarantee for now is the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, who actually hosted Israeli delegates. And that is where they are planning, of course, looking at to establish. And that's the state where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu come from. We must understand what God is already planning. And the world is looking at it that for us to stop this thing, then we need to recognize Biafra as an ally. Simple as that. Even though they are making that statement too, that the visit of Russia, who also has a different sympathy. And of course, we know the state of Donald Trump, US, who have already our embassy in Washington. And I know the issue of recognition of Biafra will also be factored in this visit with Putin and Donald Trump taking place in Alaska, United States of America. But what we are pointing at that time to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is now, and time for the Finland government to understand that their plans has been exposed, that they align with terrorist organizations to compromise the Simon Ekpa's freedom, and there will be resistance and consequences if they fail to engage the delegates that are already on their way to Finland. That currently, it is not a joke. Yes, it is not a joke. Nigeria has collapsed. Nigeria is something that no one later in the day will not want to associate with themselves. A lot of people are wondering, how is it going to come? Then my question to you, how did the nations that go their separate ways come about? If there's a process now, then you know that Biafra is a reality. A lot of things are going beyond the scene. And I must pass this message very clearly, that what APC and PDP are doing is to collect the resources in the Biafran land, steal the crude oil in the Biafran land, use armed their men with AK-47, deploy them to the Biafran territories, and started killing people. That's what the Canadian government is saying. That these are the terrorist organizations. Then, how come IPOB that is resisting these terrorist political parties are being kept in DSS custody? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. And we must understand. After the resolution of what is going to happen to Finland, what is going to happen in Finland between Biafran government in exile under the leadership of Simon Ekpa, then I will tell you what next line of action will happen. But I can tell you, victory for Simon Ekpa, victory for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, victory for Biafran government in exile.
The truth is finally out. Now that the Finnish government has declared the CDS of Nigeria, Musa, a terrorist now, what is the next phase of the lie? What lies can the government tell Nigerians? Now that Simon Ekpa is no longer in the picture, because it has always been pictured that Simon Ekpa is the cause of insurgency in Southeast, and now that insurgency has stopped in Southeast, and now that the Finnish government has vindicated Simon Ekpa, that those sponsoring insecurity and terrorists in the country are those some persons in the military. Now, where would CDS Musa bury his shame? Because a group of people are saying we want to exit the country. Because the Igbos are saying they are tired of the contraption called One Nigeria. That this One Nigeria, it will not work. And then it has not been working. It has been a country full of lies, propaganda, and shame. That has always been how it is from. So I am not surprised that the Finnish government has now come out to say CDS Musa is a terrorist for all the atrocities he has been, for all the atrocities he has committed, in disguise of pretending to keep one Nigeria. And that one Nigeria has caused a whole lot of catastrophe in the country. Just some days ago, a notorious bandit that was declared wanted was seen in Katsina State with top government officials going for peace talk. Between Mazi Simon Ekpa and that terrorist, who is more deadly? Who is more deadly? But here we are today. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. Kanu is still in detention because of the Igbophobia, of the hate. If Simon Ekpa happens to be from the Fulani extraction, Simon Ekpa would not be a terrorist. I can beat my chest because we've seen Fulani militias that have been given amnesty. We've seen Fulani militias that have been integrated into the society. Now that Finland are admitting to the ICC, Nigeria should should immediately hand over CDS Musa for custody, because the French government have done their own findings too, and they've seen that something is pushing under the ground, that this man has a connection with these Fulanis, has a connection with these bandits, has a connection with these terrorists. So if they are sincere, they should hand over CDS Musa to ICC for questioning. Because now that the French government has done their own conclusion, I've seen that CDS Musa himself is not innocent in this.
Ebumana ege edaluli ne nukunu siwe na nunum obosi nketa na Eastern News 24 beba isiwere weturu nyabu nnukwu ozi gbasata maka ya bife na-emenụ ka efi were ikwu gbasata maka ya bife ndị anyị wetere n'ụbọchị nketa n'iru akwụkwọ ka emesịa